Is this thing on? Tick, tick, tick. This is actually intended for the members only, but I started thinking about it and going through some of the comments and whatnot, and I noticed it's a mix of members and just, everyday people just trying to figure out what's going on. I'm going to put this video for members only for the first week. So if you guys want to ask direct questions, go for it. And then I'm going to leak it to the world, and everybody will have access to this video. And what this video is going to talk about, there's some common questions I'm getting when it comes to traveling in general. Vietnam is a big subject of it because that's the hot spot right now with school starting up and coming out here to get jobs, and there's a lot of retirement questions that are coming up. And if you are coming out here to teach, because I've been getting asked questions about doing lesson planning and activities, check my links below. I've written all these ebooks for you guys. These are not just generic books that are like, do this and do this. This is me working within the government. This is me working at, oh man, hold on, like 7 or 8 different English centers. This is me working at private schools. This is me working in people's kitchens in Saigon in 2016 when I was trying to get some side money back in the day when you could just kind of work wherever you wanted with no permit required. All this stuff's put together into these books. So check them out if you need to know about activities. They're gonna work better than this garbage you're Googling online. I've seen so many people bringing these activities up that they get online and they just suck. And they don't work. The kids hate them. Also, lesson plans. I show you how to write a lesson plan A to B in 30 seconds. It's seriously stupid easy. If you need a TEFL, there's a discount code below. I got you guys covered for coming out here. So we are going to talk about kind of 2 things. One of them is just travel in general. So I wrote down a bunch of average questions for traveling. And then number 2 is very much focused on Vietnam itself. So let's get into the first part, budgeting. There's been a lot of questions about how much money do you actually need to travel wherever you're traveling. And this is usually about Southeast Asia. My advice is for every month you're going to be out here, assume $1,200. This is probably an overkill for places like Cambodia, Laos, most of Vietnam. If you get to Thailand, it can get expensive. And for every month you come out, you should add a bonus month. So if you're going to come out here for 3 months, you should have at least 4 months of money saved aside. So you have enough for each month, plus you got some excess, which could just be for random things, maybe you change your plane ticket, maybe you decide to stay an extra 2 weeks, maybe you need to extend something, or you want to buy this cool shirt that you see below that says honk if you're horny. So if you're going to come out to Vietnam for the 6 month total time that you can do out here, I feel like if I came out here, if I was where you guys were, wherever that might be, and I was coming to Vietnam and I had $7,200 in the 6 month plan, then it would be enough. I would go home with money. I wouldn't be worried about it, but I also wouldn't be worried day to day. I wouldn't be freaking out on month 5 or 6, oh my God, I got to cut down on everything in this last 3 weeks and really hate my life here because I'm damn near broke and I already bought a plane ticket. I can't leave. So have that. Next one is packing tips. This is going to sound like a plug, but check the link below for Nomadic. Nomadic bags are seriously awesome. I have it right here. Hold on. A Nomadic bag, it's a 20 liter and it breaks into a 30 liter bag with this side-on extension, and you open it, it's not good. It's set up for compartments, so you can, I have a bunch of stuff this is for clothes, this is for wires, and everything sets in there. And then you got bags, stuff on here, and then I have a front pocket for my all my camera equipment and stuff like that. And then I'm not gonna tell you where all my stuff is. It's a 20 liter Nomadic bag, fits on every airplane I have. So that would be one of my biggest packy trips. But when you have to check something in, there's usually a cost. Dude, the cost is expensive. You want to have just carry on. So check that link below. Get a Nomadic bag. The 20 liters ideal, and you can break it out to 30 liters. You don't need to pack a lot. You really don't. If you're coming out to Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, the reason I named it is because you can buy your clothes there. You can buy toothpaste there. You can buy shoes there. I have these fake Under Armours, and they cost me right about $8, but in America these are 70, right? And I didn't have to pack anything. I usually travel with sandals on, to be honest with you, because it's when you get to the airport, it's easy to take off all that stuff. So don't buy things that you can obviously buy where you're going. I always carry 2 or 3 of these wherever it is. It's just money. I always believe you should have $1,500 cash in whatever country you're in. And the reason for that is you never know when something's going to happen. So if I have an issue with the card, there's been many times where I've been through Laos, especially Laos actually, I couldn't use my Visa card. I couldn't use a MasterCard. I couldn't use Booking.com to get hotels because Booking just didn't have anything out there, right? So I had to bring out the Lao money. So always have some money. Don't depend on credit cards, but also don't just depend on cash, and you'll be okay. Where's the next one? Itinerary. I personally buy one-way tickets everywhere. Like we're about to go to Saigon, and I just bought one-way tickets with the intent to come back here. I don't want, if I wake up and be like, you know what, I'm going to stay here for another 2 weeks or another week, or, I decided I'm going to go back to Singapore or do something like that. I have that availability. I would also suggest just getting one-way tickets. Let's say you're leaving October 1st and you're going to come back October 31st, right? You buy that round trip ticket. If you buy a ticket to Vietnam October 1st and then a ticket from Vietnam back to, America, a one-way ticket both ways, right? It's typically cheaper than just buying that round-trip version of that same exact ticket. Also, don't step-by-step plan. I see a lot of people, they set these like, we're going to Chiang Mai, we're going to go to Phuket, we're going to go to Bangkok, we're going to go here, do all this stuff. And they end up realizing like they didn't like Bangkok. A lot of people surprisingly don't like Bangkok. It's not really a tourist city. There's tourist stuff out there, don't get me wrong. But you would rather, as a tourist coming to Thailand, you'd probably want to spend your time more in Thai culture, not big city culture. This is why I say don't buy a round trip. Also is, you might be like, hey, I'm in Chiang Mai, but I want to go down to like Phuket real quick before we go home. So instead, why don't we buy a ticket from Phuket and buy that ticket in Phuket to go home, and we buy a ticket from Chiang Mai to Phuket and hang out in Phuket for 4 extra days before we leave. And we'll cut our Chiang Mai trip short by 4 days. Does that make sense? You can do this. Next one is solo travel. Let me cut real fast to the safety one because that's a quick answer. Most of Asia is pretty safe. I don't think any of you guys or girls will run into any like serious crime issues in Southeast Asia to where you would feel unsafe in a very dangerous situation. You might have some basic petty theft. Somebody might steal your phone if it's hanging on your hand. Like Vietnam is pretty common for that. You'll get these petty things, but that's it. Like, you'll be safe when it comes to that. In regards to solo traveling, should you do it alone or go with other people? I think it's on you, man. Like, if you don't really know this person, you probably shouldn't travel with them like that because you're going to be stuck with them for like a month in a foreign country. You can't really be like, I'm going home. Like you guys are committed. But the benefit of that, though, not the drama, but the benefit of having somebody with you is you cut your bills in half and you get to experience things with other people. You don't feel alone. So if you're traveling through like Asia and you're going to these tour sites, you're not just by yourself. You're not desperately trying to meet new friends at hostels so you don't feel alone. Like you're not running into that stuff. You also have a buddy that can take care of you if you get a little too intoxicated, save you from bad decisions so you don't wake up like the Hangover 2 and be married or something crazy. Like all that stuff is taken out. Well, I would say if you're going to bring somebody, bring a good friend you've known for a while, bring a husband or wife, or bring somebody you've been dating for more than a freaking month. Put some time behind your stuff like that and you'll be okay. The benefits though, yeah, you can definitely save money. When I did the first trip from South Vietnam to North Vietnam, I went with a friend of mine, Adam, and we did a lot of stuff too. Like, it wasn't like, I did less when I went by myself than when I was with him. But when I was with him, I only spent maybe $1,300. Like, I spent almost $1,000 less because we were able to split all the hotels. And this is something that's kind of crazy is the hotels with 2 or 3 bedrooms, beds in them, like hotel rooms and stuff like that, are typically cheaper than a hostel boardroom or cheaper than a single room hotel. And when you split it, well, it's not cheaper. Like, a 1 bedroom will be let's say $20 a night, but a 2 bedroom will be $25. Now you split that out. You see what I mean? So now you're only paying $12, $9 a night instead of the original $20 you would if you were by yourself. And that adds up really fast, especially when you're on the road for a month. Like, every night is a hotel now. Just the downfall, I would think it would just be the relationship between you and this person, being sexual, personal, the unknown. Like, maybe you don't know them. I mean, maybe you come out here with this girl that you thought you liked. You met some girl from France that you end up kicking it off with, and boom, there's a relationship. Now this girl's tripping. Now there's drama. Like, you don't want that stuff. Now when it comes to family, I wouldn't bring your mother with you. I wouldn't bring your father. If you plan on going out partying and having fun, if you're just gonna be do Christian things, I'm saying this sarcastically, good things, then sure. But you're not gonna come to Vietnam, go to Saigon with your mother, and do anything fun, because everything that you do in Saigon requires a whole lot of alcohol and a whole lot of dancing girls around you. Like it or not, that's pretty much how it is in Saigon. And then the last one on travel was safety tips. Just have straps on everything. So if you have your phone out, have a strap. Do I have anything around me? Yeah, so this is one of my like back example. Like it has a strap, so when I have this out, I always have it like around my wrist hypothetically, right? So if somebody pulls it, they're pulling me. That's what I recommend doing with your phones, your cameras. But past that, you're pretty good. Like you would think the typical advice would be like don't walk down dark alleys, stuff like that. You're honestly, I think from what I've seen from the TV news lately, I think you're safer in Southeast Asia than you are in like New York, California, like tenfold safer. So you don't have to worry about a lot of stuff. Now the last one is Vietnam. Now the food culture, I just did a video that is I think right before this. I'm not sure how I uploaded these at the time, but I just uploaded it yesterday, and I went over like 15 different types of foods in Vietnam. I went through the local foods, westernized foods, and minority foods. Check that out. I went over some food that most people don't even know what they are in Vietnam. And then I went over what you will expect to see out here. The food culture of Vietnam, though, is everything is eating. Places like Vietnam and China, for example, you're constantly snacking on fruits. Like they say it's healthy because it's always fruit, but when you're eating fruit 18 hours out of the day, like you're just living on a sugar rush. Like it's not good for you, man. Next one about Vietnam, best place to visit, hands down, Da Nang is the best spot you should probably go. If you're coming here for the first and only time, I suggest starting in the south. I talked about this in a different video comparing Saigon to Hanoi. Would I have rather started my life in Vietnam in Hanoi rather than Saigon? I kind of, did the opposite. Went to Saigon as a secondary adventure rather than Hanoi. And I don't regret it. I think Saigon was the best spot to start my adventure in Vietnam because you really get a westernized version of Vietnam where the north is more Chinese based, if that makes sense. South Vietnam is very full. It's very familiar for Western people. Like you have beach cities, you have a lot of tourist hot spots, you got the Mekong cities, you got a lot of like Vietnam War monument stuff you can look at, tunnels. Like there's just so much more to do out here, and the weather is damn near hot year round, right? When it rains, it's hot. It's like Hawaii out here. When it comes to the north, though, it's mostly country and stuff like that. It's still not bad. If you do go to the north, Hanoi, Hai Giang, Hai Phong. Next one is local customs of Vietnam. How do I say this without pissing everybody off? Vietnam is about me. It's a very selfish culture, and I see people talk about this. I see podcasts. I see YouTube videos. I meet other YouTubers out here. And it's always like, people here are so nice. They're so giving. They're so charitable. Have you guys ever been to Cancun? It's a very beautiful, chill spot. And hear me out on this. The moment you go out of that Cancun resort area, you might get shot. You're probably going to get robbed. It's unsafe. That's kind of what Vietnam and Asia, well, at least in Vietnam, feels like to me. When you're in the tourist areas, the people are super nice. They're very generous. They're very open to you. When you're in the countryside, you just go up to random Vietnamese, like, hey, sit chow. Like, you try to talk like you don't understand. They're going to sit you down and want to have a drink with you because they're curious about you. But in the general retrospect, past that curiosity of fun and past the tourism, typically the local customs of Vietnam are very selfish. You're going to get pushed while you're in line. You don't go to a store and wait in a queue. Like people just like kind of like push in front of you and throw their stuff on the counter and give money to the staff, and the staff just like, they don't even fight it. They're just like, whatever, this is how it is. And you can test this. When you're in Vietnam, just start pushing in front of a line and just give your money to somebody and the stuff you're buying. Like, nobody will look at you. When it comes to driving, it's completely out of control. It's dangerous. It's stupid. They need to stop selling driver's licenses and make people earn them, because it's like, we have a thing out here called poppers where people just like pop out of the middle of an intersection of oncoming traffic. You have people driving the wrong side of the roads. You'll get hit on the sidewalk by a motorbike. And these people always like look down. So they'll be like, beep, beep, beep. Or if they hit you, they'll look down. Nobody wants to have eye-to-eye contact because they don't want the confrontation.
Who wants to smoke with me? Who wants to smoke with me? Who wants to smoke with me?
They drive like dorks. But in general, you're going to probably act like you do in the West. Like, you're gonna be polite. You're gonna hold the door open for people. You're gonna let people merge in. You're gonna do all this stuff. You're gonna go to a coffee shop and clean up your mess before you leave. You're not just gonna leave trash everywhere. Vietnamese do completely opposite of all this, and you can either A, act who you are, just be your Western self, or B, you can just act like them, or C, you can just kind of do like a mix and match of the two. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be frowned upon. Like, you can literally go to a restaurant and start yelling at the staff, like just insulting them, belittling them, and nobody will really look at you different. They will actually start working harder to make you happy. Like, it's a very weird thing. And it's hard to explain to people why this is, but this is what it is. But it's pretty much top down. So if you're up here, you're better than the person here, right? That's kind of how it is out here. And that's how they treat each other. And that's why there's always pushing. People think they're better than the person they're pushing aside. When you're driving, people in cars are sporadic. They're insane. People that drive buses are even worse because they have the big car, right? And it's nuts. Like when it rains in Hanoi, the most dangerous drivers are actually the people in cars because they are trying to get out of the rain as fast as possible. But there's people walking in the rain. There's people motorbikes in the rain, but they don't care. Like it's me. So understand Vietnam's culture is selfish. And that goes to the etiquette. There's not really etiquette. Even the language is very direct. It's like cho toi blah, right? It's to choi blah. It's like I'll give you, you give me. Like that's how you talk to grandmothers. You just say, give me this. And it doesn't come off to them like that. It doesn't. You say volam, this means like please. But it's not used. Like you don't even hear people say thank you or you're welcome. Like you do something for somebody, like you give them lucky something. It's rare to hear somebody say like kamanchi or kamanim like that. And you never hear komkachi, which means like you're welcome. It's just these aren't words that are used. Like if you go to Japan, Singapore when I was there, like Thailand even, like pretty much everywhere but China and Vietnam, there's no level of politeness, I guess. Even table manners, man. I'm at coffee shops and people, hold on, let me grab my phone. I wonder if I can show you guys this. We were at this coffee shop and this guy, it was kind of shocking but weird. This is a weird video, right guys? Tell me if you like this type of video. So there's this guy at Highland Coffee. His wife is yelling at him because he's just like, he's doing something weird. Or the baby is crying. He's talking on his phone. He's got his feet up. This is like there you go. You can see. Like he's at this like 5-star, like the 5-star like coffee shop. And it's just like, it's out of control. When they left, dude, they spilled coffee on the ground and they just kind of left their trash there. They threw some of their own personal trash there. This is the etiquette of Vietnam, unfortunately. Like you can't have nice things here. And the main reason for it is because the people just don't care. Like, if it's not mine, who gives a shit, right? This is why you'll see people's houses outside look like complete landfills, but inside they're immaculate, they're clean. You're taking your shoes off, but outside it's a landfill. So I'm gonna get off that because that's probably just pissed everybody off. Transportation options. If you're coming out here for a trip or whatever, get an international driver's license and just have a motorbike stamp on it. This will save you so much hassle. The police typically will just ask for money when they pull you over in most of Asia. Thailand will actually take your bike from you if you don't have an international driver's license or a Thai driver's license for a motorbike. Do not come here with an international driver's license for a car, but you're driving a motorbike. And I get it. You're in a foreign country driving in their country, follow the rules. Get an international driver's license. It costs like, I think I paid $120 for mine, and it's for 10 years. Like, done. And then all you gotta do is get like different driver's licenses around the world. Like, I have a Vietnamese motorbike license that never expires. It's real. It's like hard plastic like an American one. I use that in international in Thailand, no problems. And my actual driver's license is a Thai one. I use that in Vietnam. Vietnamese can't read Thai. They can't read English. Despite what you think, Vietnamese are horrible at English. And it's legal though. I don't get any hassle. So transportation, like have your permit. Your options out here are motorbike, cars, sleeper buses, train is another one, flights is another one. I would say avoid renting a car. It's just not worth it. Motorbikes, again, you're pretty much fine. Within the city, go for it. Like definitely, it's cheap. It's like probably like $10 to $20 a day, depending on what kind of bike you get. In regards to like the train's a nice thing to go. Sleeper buses are an option. They're dangerous, but you know, what are you gonna do? You can take like domestic flights. I think Da Nang, Hanoi, and Saigon have the main airport, so you can fly between those spots. Everywhere else, you gotta kind of take a sleeper bus. Going back to the train, I wouldn't say ever really take a train unless you're going from like Hanoi to Saigon or like Hanoi to Phan Thiet. Like you're doing a very long trip because it's not worth it. So if it's not like a 10-hour ride, don't do it. If you want to use Vietnam like trains and stuff like that, there's an app called Bookaway. Download that app. You can pay for your train tickets on that app, and Vietnam uses that, so you can show them the ticket. Everything's fine. It'll prevent scams, vendors, and stuff like that. And that'll get you there. But overall, expect to use a motorbike. You have taxis. If you're gonna use a taxi, download the app Grab. Don't just go to a taxi blindly and just flag one down. You'll get robbed 99% of the time. I don't care what these people tell you. Oh no, you just gotta check the meter. Check this. Shut up. These meters are fixed. Use Grab or rent a bike. I think are your two best things. And last one, language tips. Learn the basics. Most things you're gonna do in Asia are go to street markets and vendors. So learn the basics of food. Learn how to say, can you give me? What is this? Learn how to say thank you and please. Even though people like Vietnam are rude, at least learn how to be nice. I guess. So maybe you'll change the country with your politeness. Please do. But learn those basics. You don't need to learn a whole fluent language. Places like Thailand where the language is very squiggly. Same with Cambodia and Laos. You don't need to learn to read it. Like, just learn to speak the basics. Pimsleur is a good way to do this. $10 a month gets you unlimited access to all their programs. Just learn like what you would say at a shop. What you would say go to a market, what you'd say to a taxi driver, just these basic things. And a lot of these basic things kind of like pour over to the other subjects. So when you're asking a market person how much like apples cost, you're also asking a taxi driver or a hotel clerk how much the room or the ride costs, right? So that stuff kind of boils over. So do that, you know, I think that's a good way to go. So I think that's good. Like I said, I left this for the members. So if you're still here, I appreciate you guys as members. I really do. I'm giving you guys as much extra information as I can when it comes to like where to travel, how to travel, teaching, hookups. Like if you want help with your CV and interview suggestions, ask me, man. I'm here for you guys. That's what this is all about. And for you guys that are not members, join. Consider joining. The lowest tier gets you everything. The actual higher tiers are more one-on-one stuff anyways. And then for the rest of you guys, thanks for watching, man. I really appreciate you guys hanging out these videos, checking out the ebooks, leaving your comments. I love reading them. Every day, actually, I have a to-do list. And number 3 on my list is check the YouTube comments. And I typically go down probably about 6 pages a day. So I love talking to you guys. It's really fun. And, you know, being out here for so long, sometimes I just need to talk to people that understand me. So anyways, thanks for watching. I'm gonna take my lucky money. I gotta get some tattoo work done today. I'm flying out to Thailand in a couple days. I'm gonna vlog that for you guys, and well, at least the South Vietnam, maybe not Thailand. So till then, I will see you again.